please call the promise such important trust in this land. Let your blessings descend upon you assembled and granted may as in your presence, fit and consider all matter that shall come under their liberation. Be so just and faithful manner promote your honor and glory. Meet their church.
Item 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I welcome you to today's sitting. Honorable members, I'm in receipt of a letter from His Excellency the President, and the letter is dated 18 August 2022, returning the Fisheries and Aquaculture Bill 2022. As you recall, the Fisheries and Aquaculture Bill was read for the first time on 19 September 2021 and referred to the Committee of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. That is pursuant to Rule 1291 of the Rules of Procedure. The House considered and passed the bill on 3rd May 2022. The bill was transmitted to the President for assent in furtherance of Article 912 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995. However, the President has evoked Article 913B of the Constitution and returned the bill for reconsideration in the House on the following grounds. Clause 4, definition of a licensing officer. The licensing officer is being defined in the bill as a chief fisheries officer or district fisheries officer. This will cause confusion and can recite for malpractice. The licensing officer should be the chief fisheries officer. 2, Clause 13(2) and 3, the surveillance unit. The bill domiciles the surveillance unit organization, command, control, and training under Uganda Police Force. The surveillance unit organization, command, control, and training need to be domiciled under Uganda People's Defense Forces, that's UPDF, and Uganda Police Force, UPF. The rationale is that given the need for continuous surveillance and sophisticated ways employed by people involved in illegal fishing, the support for both UPDF and Uganda Police Force are required. Therefore, pursuant to Article 914 of the Constitution and Rule 1432 of the Rules of Procedure, I accordingly return the bill to the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries for reconsideration. In considering the returned bill, I urge the committee to restrict itself on the grounds that have been raised by the President as stipulated under Rule 1431. I hereby grant the committee 1 week to look at the 2 clauses and report back to the House on those clauses with a bill. Honorable members, the Parliamentary Pension Amendment Bill is coming up today. And I request that members, we really give it time and finish that bill today because it concerns us. It concerns all of us in this house. And we have issues that were raised yesterday. There was an issue on school fees. I would request that the minister responsible brings a paper next week on the issue of school fees, and then on the issue of supply of seedlings. Supply of seedlings, who want a paper to be presented on that matter. Honorable members, as the head of the institution, all members of parliament here belong to the speaker. My two members of parliament make 1 year in prison today. That is Honorable Sewanyana and Honorable Segirenya. I request and I plead with the government for a speedy trial on this member so that they represent their constituency. Because today it is them, tomorrow it is somebody else. Let's see how we can have these people, their case concluded. I want to thank you once more and thank you for coming for the session. Honorable Katesh.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise in accordance with Rule 218. Madam Speaker, you appointed an ad hoc committee to investigate the Ujagari tax waiver during the consideration of the income tax amendment bill.
Is it on my communication? I had already given you permission. I told you to put it in writing and come and lay on table. We give you an extension. So bring it in writing and we give you an extension. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you for your communication on the issue of seedlings, that where you have guided the House that next week the minister is going to come up with a paper. However, Right Honorable Speaker, when you look at our seasons, we are actually very, very late. The rains are ending. We have been having rains, I think, now for a month. And nowadays the seasons are changing. So wouldn't this be too long, Right Honorable Speaker, that by the time they come, we debate, we agree, find the money that we may be targeting next year and not even this season? I was seeking your indulgence in that area, Right Honorable Speaker.
The responsible minister communicated and said it would be ready on Tuesday. And we can't force him give us a document that is not there. It's like asking for what is not there. So let's give the ministry Tuesday to bring a document and see what is the action. What do we do? Maybe they want to get an assurance from cabinet on Monday. Yes. Eki?
Madam Speaker, as per your communication.
Is it a procedure on communication?
Madam Speaker, on a matter that is very important regarding this. Madam Speaker, yesterday we were here and a very critical matter came on the floor. The Right Honorable Prime Minister assured us that the matter of Nyege will be handled, and the House took a decision. Madam Speaker, government needs to operate as one. We have the Prime Minister as a lead of government business. We have the institution of parliament that represents the people of Uganda. Madam Speaker, we find it abnormal and a system that's not practiced in any country in the world. That the House makes a position, the Prime Minister is represented, then the Prime Minister later on goes to address the press on a matter that has not been concluded. Madam Speaker and honorable members, we operate in a digital world. If we continue to operate like that, everything we communicate here is received around the world. It will show that there is confusion in government, there's confusion in parliament. Madam Speaker, isn't it proper for the Right Honorable Prime Minister, as a leader of government business, to bring a law here on LOTB and homosexuality so that this matter can be discussed and we conclude it once and for all, instead of doing a ping pong, addressing the press on a matter that the House has taken. Madam Speaker, I want to seek for your indulgence that the Prime Minister assure us brings a bill, this matter is discussed and is concluded. Otherwise, operating outside the system, outside the Constitution, will show we are confused and all of us will lose the respect, locally and internationally, Madam Speaker.
It's still on the same.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, just like my colleague has said yesterday, we took a decision and you directed. We have had instances in the past where we take a decision and then some ministers go to some place in the media and start speaking against Parliament. I would understand if the Prime Minister came here and said, this is our position as government in Parliament, rather than addressing a press conference and say, ignore what Parliament has done. This is my position. I think it is unfair. It is it's uncalled for. It is disturbing. I would want to get an explanation in that regard. As how does somebody say avoid ignore what Parliament has said? This is the position. Does that suggest that somebody doesn't suggest, respect Parliament? What would that suggest?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you recently returned from Rome, where you got the blessings. And it's my belief that yesterday when you made that, it was inspiration from what you got from the Holy Father. And that was the message. We all belong to faith and values and traditions. And I believe the Prime Minister belongs to certain faith. We saw her the other day with the bishop. Honorable Barrium was missed narrowly to be the father. He's the spokesperson, the priest. So, guided by that, Right Honorable Speaker, I knew your pronouncement yesterday was guided by that message that you received. And we needed to protect our children. If some people want their children to behave the way they would, let them take it somewhere. Let them take somewhere. So, Right Honorable Speaker, you spoke yesterday, you guided as a mother and protect and as our leader in Parliament. So to see the Prime Minister come to say the contrary, I think it was absurd. What would have done would have been, if she had any worrying thing, she should have called the Speaker, say, no, we have this issue, and let us settle it. Then the public now look at us like we are fighting. Yes, information.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for giving. Well, the information I want to give the House that as of this morning, activities are going on normally. The nyege activities, they are going on normally. People are organizing. Everything is going on as if there was no any directive by this House, as if we did not take any decision. Everything is going on normally. That's the information that I wanted to give the House.
As I conclude, Right Honorable Speaker, you are number 3. The Prime Minister is number 9. Can we respect that hierarchy? Thank you. Information.
Honorable members, maybe we need to hear from government, but whatever decision, whatever statement I said was with my full conscience. A full conscience of being a Mukatuli. And I'm not about to withdraw, and I will not withdraw. And whatever I say, there is no confusion in Parliament. If there is confusion the other side, for us in parliament, we are at peace. Whatever happens, we are at peace as parliament.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I think before I go to that one, on the issue of seedlings, I think we can call the minister, because cabinet has already taken a decision on that tomorrow, so that he can make a statement. Then two,
Hajat,
on the Nyegenyege.
Hajat, what is unfortunate with this house? When you talk about things of immorality, people are very fast in acting. Issues of Nyegenyege were talked about yesterday, and it was acted upon immediately. It is as an urgent thing. But issues of seedlings came some time back. But Yamus may not come back to parliament because of the seedlings.
So, Right
So you see that kind of thing. We need to support these farmers.
Right Honorable,
Eh?
now I'm reacting on the Nyegenyege issue. On the issue of Nyegenyege, I want to call my colleague, Honorable Justin Lumumba Kasule, because she has been. No.
The promoter. I the promoter. I the promoter. The promoter. Is the promoter? The promoter or a promoter?
Right Honorable Justin Kasule has been given the authority to come and explain and lead it, so that she can give us more information about it. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Justin Lumumba was supposed to be a nun, a senior nun of this country.
Speaker, honorable members, I'm born in a family where the firstborn was a nun in the Little Sisters of St. Francis of Assisi, Third Order Regular Nkokonjero. So what you are talking about, I come from that, and I live by that. And I live by the virtues and values of the Catholic Church, in addition to those that are in the Constitution. Leadership is not always sweet. And you lead because it is a team. Right Honorable Speaker, I was here yesterday. The issue of Nyegenyege was raised. The Minister of Ethics and Integrity gave us briefly her view, what they called the do's and don'ts that they were putting in place with the Minister of Internal Affairs and Police. And we also had the Minister of Tourism, who also gave us his view. But Right Honorable Speaker, after you had ruled yesterday, the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, was advised by many of us who are in this house, including myself, that let's have a discussion about this issue. And the discussion, a meeting under her chair took place this morning. She gave me the responsibility to lead a team of ministers and permanent secretaries to come and have a discussion with you as the head of the institution and who was the presiding officer yesterday. It is very unfortunate that when we got to your office with no appointment because of the urgency, we were informed that you would be coming, and that's why we also behaved unprofessionally today and waylaid you on the way as you are entering the chambers, seeking an appointment with you to have this discussion before we go out to the public, because the decision was taken. The executive is part of parliament. You presided over yesterday, and I'm very happy that you have given us an appointment tomorrow at midday. My prayer to you, Right Honorable Speaker, allow us to have a discussion under your chair tomorrow. Then whatever you advise us to do, we shall take action as way forward as agreed with you. Right Honorable Speaker,
There is
Right
an order.
Honorable Speaker, I want to say
There is
that
an-
I will be available with the team to your office tomorrow at
there is an
midday
order here.
and we'll
of
have a
order.
discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right
There is a clarification from Morris.
Yes. Thank you, Right Honorable
members,
Speaker.
free sitting, free sitting.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm seeking clarification from Honorable Justin. And as somebody who is conveying the message of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, whether the message and the information we are reading is coming from the Prime Minister, or since she's representing the Prime Minister can be answered and say that is not true and the Prime Minister has not said anything about it.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm a human being. And I was delegated by the Right Honorable Prime Minister with fellow human beings. I cannot account for whatever happened between the office of the Prime Minister and your office when we are coming to talk to you and up to the time we got to you. So I cannot say yes or no over something I've not seen. Thank you.
Honorable Lumumba, you cannot account for what happened between the Prime Minister and my office. You didn't come to my office. I didn't meet you in my office. We met in the corridor and I can't say we had a meeting. So what the honorable member is saying, what was said in the press that you said, go ahead with your nyege nyege, is it true?
Right Honorable Speaker, I said we came to your office and were given information by the team in your office. We don't have capacity to disagree or discredit when they gave us information.
Order, Madam Speaker.
On the issue
Point of
to
order.
do,
Point of order.
on the issue to do
Point
with
of
what
order.
happened, what they are telling me what happened in the press. I don't have any
Justin, there is
evidence
an
of
order.
whatever allegations they are making, because to me it is
There-
still an allegation until I've seen. That's why I'm saying, Right Honorable Speaker, that I can only account for what I know.
Please,
Thank you so. Right Honorable Speaker, the media is quoting the Prime Minister, asking the organizers to go ahead. The minister is saying there was a discussion and they agreed to come and meet you. That is different from what the media is quoting, and they are quoting a Prime Minister saying you can proceed. Now, is it in order for the minister to come and tell us that they have not taken a decision? They are still consulting and they want to talk to you. Yet a decision has been taken and it is out there quoting the Prime Minister. Is she in order?
of course, the minister is not in order. Honorable members, we are going to continue with this nyege nyege thing. Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to seek clarification from Honorable Justin. No. Okay, maybe she's scared of a dog. Right Honorable Speaker, now, as you're trying to seek appointment from Speaker's office, the clarification I'm seeking, Honorable Justin, is that have the activities of nyege nyege been put to halt, or they are still continuing?
Honorable members, let the minister respond.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the code of conduct demands that the message, the information that I carried from the meeting where the Prime Minister delegated me was to the Speaker. Until the Speaker has given me that opportunity, I cannot begin opening that information here before I've met the Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Sarah.
Right Honorable Speaker, the procedural issue that I want to raise in this House, we all know that we still have monkeypox in most of those countries in Europe. And from the revelation from the Minister of Tourism yesterday was that over 8,000 people are coming from Europe and all parts of the world to this country. Right Honorable Speaker, aware that we have just come out of the COVID-19 pandemic, where we had issues, Right Honorable Speaker, and people even locked up for complete 2 years.
Members, can you keep quiet?
And aware, Right Honorable Speaker, that the government, I was reading that samples for smallpox were picked by the Minister of Health.
Honorable, concentrate.
Right Honorable Speaker, aware that the Ministry of Health even picked samples from some suspected cases and flew them to South Africa. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, having all these 8,000 people flying in, these are tourists, but Right Honorable Speaker, what capacity do we have as a country to test for these monkeypox, where the incubation period is between 6 to 13 days, Right Honorable Speaker? We cannot sell our country just because of money. Tomorrow we shall have another pandemic here, Right Honorable Speaker. So, Right Honorable Speaker, the procedural issue that I am raising is whether government has also considered the health aspect. Okay? Can I pick?
Honorable members, honorable members. Honorable members, those who want to speak in the House, if you want to speak in the House, before you're given permission to speak, just cross over and go to National Theatre. Now, don't think you're more affected on the issues of nyege more than anybody else. Maybe the mothers here are more affected than you. So stop making that noise of yours. We have serious business.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I had given information to the honorable member so that I conclude.
Thank you.
Yes, government spokesperson. Information.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. As the Honorable Kasule Lumumba informed us, the executive side of government started this morning, and we agreed to have further consultations with the office of the Speaker. And that's when the statements shall be made. I beg that we stop the debate here until when that meeting has taken place, because there is no need for Parliament to appear to be in conflict. Just hold on. There is no need for Parliament to appear to be in conflict with the executive, because we are serving the same people. So I want to beg the House that we wait for the meeting between the executive and the office of the Speaker, and thereafter we shall inform the nation. I thank you very much.
And Honorable Chris, we also request you as executive to first hold your statement. Hold your statement that you're saying that we've given them a go-ahead and that kind of thing, until we conclude and agree on a position as government.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I want to, on behalf of the executive, if my boss, the Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, has done that, I apologize, because that is not in good spirit, especially where we have two institutions that are both concerned on issues to do with our culture, our religion, and morality of this country, but also vis-a-vis to do with the issues of the economy. It requires discussion. So I would really request, Right Honorable Speaker, that we will not do that again, but accord us the time at midday as promised, so that after the discussion, under your chair and guidance, we shall agree under your chair to what to do, what is best for this country. I thank you.
Honorable members, I want to thank you for I thought we agreed we continue tomorrow. Which motion are you bringing? Yes.
Thank you.
Honorable members, the front desk. Honorable Lumumba, the members are requesting, the House is requesting that whatever is happening must be put to halt. Until tomorrow, when we agree, we should be able to speak as a country.
Thank you, Right Honorable.
Honorable
Speaker.
Lumumba is still on the floor.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I've taken note of this and let me inform the relevant authorities to make that. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, as I said, we have a very important bill that everybody is waiting for.
Very briefly, Honorable Speaker, with your kind indulgence, I took seriously your communication on two major issues, not that any of them was endless. One on the returned bill. You know, we expend a lot of time and resources processing bills. And when bills are returned, that probably the line ministers, especially government bills, the line ministers did not do their job. Because a bill is a consultative action of Parliament. Consultations between Parliament, stakeholders, and the executive. The president being the head of the executive, returning bill after bill is an indictment of the front bench. I would like to invite the front bench to rise to the occasion so that we do not do this work over and over. Bills are returned over the every other bill we have passed has been returned, including tax bills. So we need to get the executive to do this work, right, Honorable Speaker, that we do not expend time and resources on bills returning and time lost. Thank you, right, Honorable Speaker. Then to our colleagues that are in detention today, is a full year. You can see, right, Honorable Speaker, on your left, almost 90% of the members on your left are putting on black. You've not seen me on a black tie, probably for the time I have been around this house. And we did that deliberately in commemoration and raising a red flag over this injustice. Honorable Speaker, we are very concerned and disheartened over the circumstances over the continued detention. Clearly, the state is persecuting them because there's no other meaning of detention without trial other than persecution. Clearly, they were arrested before investigations were made. And it's very disheartening, right, Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament. So for a full year, two constituencies are without representation in this House of Parliament. I tried to reach out to the Chief Justice and the Principal Judge over this matter, because I equally think that the judiciary is culpable in their continued detention, and they need to rise to the occasion. The two officers, the two gentlemen, did not respond to my plea. Imagine the Chief Justice and the Principal Judge not responding to an official request by the leader of the opposition. The judiciary too is indictable in this. It's not my business to interfere with their work, but it's my business and full-time business to raise a red flag when they become flimsy in their business. Just like a Parliament is called upon this work judiciously. Honorable Speaker, in the circumstances,
These two honorable members will require special intervention of parliament. It's a syndicate, in my view, in our view, to have them in detention. Again, it's the Constitution. Article 23(1) is very clear, 28(3) is clear about the rights of those in detention. So for a full year, the state is unable to prosecute their case. The judge had been changed. It's unacceptable. Probably our constitutional order has broken down and people are taking matters in their hands. Right, Honorable Speaker, probably this House of Parliament will be the last firewall for citizens that have their rights trampled upon by the state. I don't want to say that the judiciary has joined in a connivance, but we are asking of the judiciary to do this work to uphold the rights of citizens and to have courts independently do their work without undue interference by the state, right, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, the citizens on whose behalf I did present their names here that had disappeared have never been accounted for. 15 Ugandans disappeared. I want to inform the front bench that you are marked. You are the people in charge when citizens are disappearing. Please just know. You are the people in charge. When Ugandans are disappearing unaccounted for, you will be made to account for these disappearances. They have children, they have wives, they have families who are promised, right, Honorable Speaker, that they're going to account for them. It's now more than a year. They cannot account for these citizens. They were arrested by the state on record. They cannot deny it. Right, Honorable Speaker, these are very compelling times. It's not just about members of parliament. It's about every citizen. Even as we speak, people are being picked without any being produced before court. It's very, very disturbing, right, Honorable Speaker? And I hope the Prime Minister will come to this parliament and probably declare a state of emergency in this country, constitutional emergency, probably a rule of the jungle that we can find our way, right, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you so much, Leader of Opposition. Maybe just to make a clarification on the returned bills. In most cases, we find like we have a bill in this house. And for this case, this bill is here of fisheries. It is basically on a definition of who a licensing officer is. And that one, I wouldn't really put a blame on the front desk. Yes, Honorable Bahati.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On the comment by the Leader of Opposition, the return of bills by the President to the House should be a blame by the executive is not necessarily true and should be put in context. This is part of legislation. For example, the bill that was returned by His Excellency the President regarding taxes recently, government had proposed to put a tax on plastics for purposes of fighting issues with the environment. When it came here in the House, you said we delete it, and he returned it. So there are some amendments that are done by Parliament, and then His Excellency the President looks at them and said, no, Parliament, can you go back and look at this? So for the Leader of Opposition to suggest that when the President returns the bill, then it is the executive, the front bench not doing the work, he needs to cross-check those facts, and those facts are not true, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And maybe members, when we are legislating and making the laws, let's do it in posterity. Let's not look at the definition as the way we want it today. Let's, for instance, this is on a definition. And the second issue, the President is saying, instead of having only UPF, let's add UPDF also in the what? In the surveillance unit. Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The Constitution and our rules of procedure as well provide for the President either assenting or returning a bill if he's not satisfied or if he has different views. So I think we should commend our President, that is active. He reads the bills which we pass as Parliament. He does not just rubber stamp. Therefore, there should be no room for us to complain that the President is doing his work to read the bills which we pass, and where he has concerns, he returns them, and the rules are clear on how we manage the bills which are returned. So I don't think my friend leader of opposition should make it an issue that the President is returning the bill. He doesn't return all the bills, but where he has an observation, he returns it, and the law, the Constitution, the rules provide for that.
Actually, my only concern is the bill should be returned in time. You don't keep the bill there for all that time and then bring when the time, I mean, yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. We shouldn't get worried that when the President returns a bill, it means that Parliament has no powers. So when the President returns a bill more than once and Parliament insists, then by law, it passes. So I just wanted to put that addition.
Honorable members, I want to beg your indulgence on the issues of national importance. I wish we could dispose of your bill. We have a bill, which is your bill, and I want us to dispose it off. And matters of national importance, I will give you all the time tomorrow. Next item.
Item 3, Bill's second reading. The Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill 2022.
Honorable members, the Parliamentary Pension Amendments Bill is a private member's bill by Honorable Rakajara Arinaitre, the Workers MP. It was initially read for the first time on 19th July 2022 and referred to the Committee of Legal, Parliament and Parliamentary Affairs. And that is in line with the Rule 1291. The bill that we are talking about touches the rights of members of Parliament and their privileges under the Parliamentary Pension Scheme. So I urge you members of Parliament to legislate in posterity. Don't legislate for only now, because you're a member of Parliament now. The committee is ready with its report. However, the member of Parliament will be required to move a motion in relation to his bill and give us a brief on the principles of his bill. Honorable Rakajara.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. In accordance with the Rule 130 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Parliamentary Pension Amendment Bill 2022 be read for the second time.
Is it seconded? Seconded by Fox Odoi, Mpindi, Bashir, Lutamaguzi Kanya, by the whole house. Amos, by the whole house. Would you love to speak to your bill? Speak to your motion.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much, Honorable members for the seconding the bill. Right Honorable Speaker, the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill 2022. The objective of this bill, Right Honorable Speaker, A, is to replace the requirement of a recommendation of Uganda Medical Board with the recommendation from medical practitioner approved of where A or one, a member or a pensioner seeks to use a proportion of their benefits on medical treatment. 2, a member retires early on medical grounds. Very Honorable Speaker, the second justification is to increase the contribution made by the members from 15% to 20%, Right Honorable Speaker. 3 is to exclude the application of laws on succession to members or pensioner in case there is death. This one, Right Honorable Speaker, the succession law does not respect the nomination of the members in case there is death. Right Honorable Speaker, D is to repeal the application of vesting scale in regard to the proportionate contributed by government towards members' benefit upon early retirement. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, whenever a member has contributed for some time and maybe he had a petition and he retires early, then the government will not add on their contribution if you don't finish the 5-year term. So this one will cure that challenge of the government contribution. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, make the clerk of parliament an ex-officio member of the board within no right to vote. Honorable members, we've been having audit queries because our clerk has been a secretary of the board and a board member. So he had the right to vote and also as a secretary of the board. We need this clerk on the board as our secretary, but it has been having an audit queries for doing 2 roles, having powers to vote at the same time to be the one that keeps our record. Right Honorable Speaker, provide the appointment and functions of the Chief Operations Manager and other staff of the scheme. This is to empower the board to appoint this team that runs our pension. G, permit benefits of untraceable members to be deposited on the reserve account of the scheme. Right Honorable Speaker, I must mention this before we discuss this bill, that some of you have not given us the proper data that we should base on to post your benefits. And in case of any problem, you find we don't have the details of some of you. H, Right Honorable Speaker, option of receiving pension rather than a lump sum payment in case where a member who is eligible for pension elects to do so. We want to give members the option, Right Honorable Speaker, even if you have served the 1 term, you can be a pensioner. So, but this is the option. But before this, whenever someone would lose elections in 1 term, then just picks his lump sum and go away without remaining on pension or annuities. Honorable Speaker, to establish a post-retirement medical fund to which contributions are made, from which costs of medical benefit for members during retirement be met. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, empower Board of Trustees to determine and implement the investment policy of the scheme. For example, Right Honorable Speaker, most of our members are interested in getting loans from the scheme at a low interest rate, which we offer, but under UBRA law does not allow us to give all members. They just give us rights maybe to use 5% of the total fund, or even now we have negotiated with them 7. So we want these powers that members, whoever wants money that he qualifies to have, and we know we can receive this payment from finance here, we can give them money rather than donating all our money to banks. Yeah, you wanna say it again? Right, Honorable Speaker, I can repeat this. Empower the Board of Trustees to determine and implement investment policy of the scheme. Such that if we are to offer loans to our members, we can say, members, we get
Honorable United, can you finish?
most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. The last point, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, provide dependents of the former Speaker and Deputy former Speaker to access retirement benefits of the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker. In accordance with this rule, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to report. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable United. Can I now have the chairperson of legal present her report, a brief report?
Madam Speaker, and members of the House, I'm here on behalf of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament.
Please speak to the microphone. I'm not sure if Solomon is hearing you.
I'm here on behalf of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament to present this report on the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill. Before I go ahead, I would like to thank all the members of my committee and to ask them to stand up for recognition. Yes, they did the hard work of what is in this report. You're not our member. Thank you very much, honorable members, because without you, we would not have this report. Permit me to lay on table the report of the committee and the minutes. I beg to lay, Madam Speaker.
Please lay.
I'm only going to read the clauses and the recommendations. The first one I begin with is on the removal. This is 5.1 at page 6 of our report. Removal of the recommendation of Uganda Medical Board on retirement of a member on health grounds and on utilization of a member
or pensioners' pension or scheme credits for medical treatment. And our recommendation is that the committee has examined the above views and recommendations and recommends that clauses 4 and 7 be adopted. We further talk about that on page 14, where we recommend, based on the above, debate with to A, clause 4 to restrict the provisions to only pensioners. Since the Parliamentary Commission caters for the medical needs of members of the scheme who are members of Parliament and staff of the Parliamentary Commission. B, in clause 7, to harmonize the provision with the provisions of the Parliamentary Service, in brackets Staff Regulations 219, which obligates in Regulation 6252 the Parliamentary Commission Medical Board to consider proposals of staff of the Parliamentary Commission for retirement on medical grounds. The committee further recommends for the incorporation of the best practices contained in the National Social Security Act in accessing members' scheme credits midterm before he or she becomes eligible for retirement. 5.2 is an increase in members' contribution, and the committee recommended as follows. Clause 2 should be adopted as part of the bill with the following recommendations. A, the Parliamentary Commission should undertake to mitigate the loss of income that will be suffered by members arising from the increase in members' contributions. B, government contribution should be increased in light of the increase of the members' contribution. 5.3.
Chair, there is a procedure matter.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have read through the bill. It is our bill. Wait, that is the point. I would want to move that we directly go to the committee stage and consider clause by clause, rather than the chairperson having to go through this and then take more time, yet it is our bill.
Yes, Ethel. Chair, first sit.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I wish to second the Honorable Mjichi that the committee chairperson stops there and then she explains to us more and more when we are at committee stage. So I also beg to second that we move to.
Thank you, members. This bill was uploaded. Members have looked at it, and I now put a question that the parliamentary pension amendment be read for the second time. Those in favor say the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
The Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill 2022, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
I put a, honorable members, we are at committee stage. I put a question that clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Chair. Chair.
Amendment, Madam Speaker, before clause 2. Madam Chair, before clause 2. Before clause 2, Madam Chair.
Honorable Baka, you're a member of the committee. You're not going to interrupt the chair.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm a member of the committee, but I'm moving under Rule 134, paragraph 5. Who had any issue that was not agreed to in the committee can bring that matter to the committee of the whole house. And that's why I rise up, Madam Chair.
Did you attend the meeting today?
I did. And there was a
And
matter.
did you raise it in the meeting?
I did. And there was a matter that was not agreed to. And when you go to Rule 134.
Did you write a minority report?
No, I don't have to write under that rule.
In the circumstance that you did not write a minority report, that means you considered what the committee decided.
Yeah, but
You considered the majority.
Madam Chair.
And you signed the report? You did?
I did. And I entirely agree with you. Madam Chair, under
Honorable Baka?
Rule 134.
Honorable Baka,
Yes.
can you sit down? What do you want?
I invite you, Madam Chair,
What do you want?
I have a proposal to the committee of the whole house, such that the committee of the whole house can address it and either take it
Under
up
which
or drop
clause?
it. Can I proceed, Madam Chair?
Under which clause?
And between clause 1 and clause 2. So before we proceed to clause 2, I would beg that I move it. It is an amendment. The amendment to clause to section 6 of the Principal Act.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Chair, let's give him the.
Madam Chair, I move and appeal to this House to look at amendment to section 5 of the Principal Act, which defines the members that are prescribed for benefit under the Parliamentary Pensions Act. Now, Madam Chair, this House elects 9 members to the East African Legislative Assembly. Those members, while at the East African Legislative Assembly, earn a monthly emolument and also an annual gratuity, but they do not earn a pension at the East African Legislative Assembly. These are Ugandans just like us, who are serving at a very high level, who are entitled to a decent retirement package. Now, while here, this Parliament appropriates for them an emolument per month. It's not a salary, it's an emolument per month. Madam Speaker, the intent of this amendment
Did you say government contributes annual emolument?
The government here in Uganda, this Parliament,
Emolument salary.
no, it's not. But while at the East African Legislative Assembly, they do not get a pension. They only get a gratuity.
Do they get gratuity?
They get a gratuity.
Which is a retirement
So the import of
benefit.
the amendment is to allow them to be to earn a pension at the end of their term of office.
Honorable Baka, what
And-
you want to reintroduce? You want to reintroduce new members into the pension,
Yes, that's the
which
intention.
is not acceptable. It affects Article 93 of the Constitution. And the fact that it affects Article 93, that would have financial implication, and we are not going to reintroduce other members in the pension that is being paid for members of parliament locally. That's one. Two, the emolument they get here is not a salary. If they were getting salary from here, that one would consider it. But now that they don't get salary from here, the law automatically knocks them out. Next.
I concede, Madam.
Chair, we are at committee level. We are not at debate. Chair.
Clause 2, amendment of section 6 of the amendment of section 6 of the Principal Act. Section 6 of the Principal Act is amended A in subsection 1 by substituting for 15 the word 20, and in subsection 2 by substituting for 30 the word 40.
The justification is to increase the rate of government contribution to a member's pension by 10% in recognition of the additional contribution by the member.
Honorable Rokajara. Are you in
Honorable
agreement?
Speaker, I concede on that amendment.
Minister.
Madam Chair, the proposal by the committee has got financial implications. And Madam Chair, the proposal being proposed by the committee has got financial implications, and I'm constrained to support it.
Madam Chair.
Nathan.
Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I think the minister would be better to tell us what is the financial implication it is bringing. Because the issue we're raising is that a member has contributed his money, and that's the money he wants to benefit from. Now, it has no direct implication, maybe Minister of Finance, I don't know. What implication has it got? Because we need to understand before we can support you, Mr. Minister.
Honorable Minister, we are talking about members contributing their money. It is members' money.
Madam Chair, the Minister of Finance under the Public Finance and Management Act the Public Finance and Management Act issued a certificate of financial implication to this bill. And we don't legislate in a restricted manner. This bill proposes, in fact, it's we members who are going to lose. Because they are now saying you increase your contribution. So our savings is going to increase, which is good for this government. According to the World Bank, the saving in Uganda is very low. So this will help you to meet the World Bank target. What we are requesting, government then just complies. And we are not saying comply now. We shall discuss the detail during the budget process. I rest my case.
Fox, you have something to say?
I thank you, Right Honorable Chair. Right Honorable Chair, the committee considered the legality of the proposed amendments. And we came to the conclusion that we are sound on the law, we are sound on logic, and we are sound on the economics. Right Honorable Chair, I beg to move that you put the question.
Honorable members, I put a question that clause 2 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say under the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2 as amended.
I put a question that clause 2 as amended as part of the bill. Those in favor say under the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3.
Chair.
Clause 3, insertion of a new section 6A in the Principal Act. Clause 3 of the bill is amended in the proposed section 6A, 6 big A, and A in the proposed subsection 1 by substituting for the words parliamentary post-retirement medical fund established under section 17A of the Act, the word scheme. B in the proposed subsection 2 by substituting the words the parliamentary post-retirement medical fund, the word scheme. The justification is to remove the restriction proposed on voluntary contributions under the bill by allowing a member to make voluntary contributions to the scheme without restricting the utilization of those voluntary contributions.
Honorable Rokajara. Honorable Minister, I hope you're.
Right, Honorable Chair, I concede to the amendment.
You concede to the amendment, Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, I agree with the committee.
Thank you. I put a question at clause 3. Be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3 as amended.
I put a question that clause 3 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Chair.
Amendment, for clause 4, they substituted the following. Amendment of section 7B of the Principal Act. Section 7B of the Principal Act is amended by substituting for subsection 2B the following. 2B, pay for medical treatment in respect of a pensioner on recommendation of a medical practitioner approved by the board. The justification is that, one, the provision of medical treatment for members of the scheme is done by the Parliamentary Commission. This makes the proposals in the bill as well as section 7B2B of the Principal Act redundant. Secondly, to restrict the provision to only pensioners, since these are not provided medical treatment by the Commission.
Honorable Rakajara.
Right, Honorable Chair, I agree with the committee.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, I agree with the committee.
I put a question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4 as amended.
I put a question that clause 4 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I put a question that clause 5 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. I put a question that clause 5 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I put a question that clause 6 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. New clause.
Insertion of a new clause immediately after clause 6. The bill is amended by inserting immediately after clause 6 the following. Insertion of section 13A in the Principal Act. The Principal Act is amended by inserting immediately after section 13 the following. 13A, midterm access to benefits. 1. A member who has made contribution to the fund under section 6 shall be allowed midterm access to his or her benefits accrued from the contributions. 2. A member who is 45 years of age and above and who has made contributions to the fund for at least 10 years is eligible to midterm access of his or her benefits of a sum not exceeding 20%. 3, the board shall prescribe by statutory instrument the terms and conditions and procedure for accessing the accrued benefits under this section. 4, the statutory instrument under subsection 3 shall be laid before Parliament for approval. The justification is to incorporate a best practice in accessing members' credits by allowing a member to access his or her scheme credits midterm before he or she becomes eligible for pension.
Thank you. Honorable Rakajara.
Right, Honorable Chair, since there is already a precedence on the NSSF, which is also a pension scheme, I think I agree with the committee.
Thank you.
As they have proposed.
Can we have the microphones on? Let's first get from Honorable Anywa, Honorable Hanifa, then we come to you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I would want the amendment to include the ex. We can't hear. Madam Chair, I would want to move that the amendment should include not only the members who have retired, but even the ex-officials to be included, because Right Honorable Chair, as per now, the ex-official cannot even access the savings, leave alone to say that they are not even allowed to borrow. So that one leaves them in dilemma if we don't include it. And I want to propose that it is also amended to include, because you cannot continue serving and saving to the scheme while you are not even allowed to access even a third of what you are saving. Leave alone that you cannot even borrow from the scheme while you are saving to that scheme. That is very unfair. We would want that amendment to be included.
Honorable Nefa. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to first of all apologize that I am taking the chair and members of this August House back on which is again. But Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, article number 4 amendment on number 4.7b that we have passed as a Minister of Health.
We have not passed an article, we have passed a clause.
The clause. So, and as a Minister of Health, I wanted to raise some issues of concern, and I'm sure.
Honorable Minister, when you want a clause to be reconsidered, you ask for what? A recommittal. Do you want us to recommit? And that the time for recommittal has passed. It was supposed to be recommitted at that time. Maybe
Mr. Chair.
honorable members, maybe we could just understand what she wants to raise. I am the chair. I am the chair of this house. I am the one chairing. I want to hear her concerns. Okay? Can you tell us your concern?
Thank you so much, Right Chair, and thank you so much, my colleagues. My concern on behalf of the Minister of Health is that we do appreciate the spirit under which the substitution of the word medical practitioner to the words of medical board. My concern and our concern as a ministry is one, that we are trying to understand what this is trying to cure, knowing that the board is composed Chair, whereas an individual may be having expertise within one field. Now, when we are subjecting that it's on this individual, at the same time, this individual is supposed to be approved by the board, the medical board, which medical board, the report
and the mover is trying to do away with. So our concern is that we would still appreciate that the medical board remains in charge with this mandate, and wherever there have been maybe shortcomings, then we could approve on them. That's my main concern right on.
Thank you, thank you. Honorable members. First of all, I want to make a clarification on the Honorable Anyua's issue. I want to refer you to Rule 129.3. This issue was brought, the motion was brought in the House, the bill was brought in the House. You ought to have taken your concerns to the committee. And the committee should have gotten your concerns and put it together in the bill. So you cannot make an amendment on the floor. That is one. Two, on the issue of the medical board. And it was good for you to hear from Musenga. It was good for her to raise it because they would castrate her. Yes. But honorable members, the clause was already passed. Can we go to the next clause?
Procedure, Madam Speaker, procedure. Madam Speaker.
Chair, you had given me the time.
Okay.
Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I've attentively, Right Honorable Chair, I've attentively listened to the amendment of the committee. And I stand here.
On which clause?
The one that allows midterm access.
You're on new term. Let's first finish her issue. Let's clear her fears.
Right Honorable Speaker, I have listened to the Senga, Ajatiani Fakawai. The issue of medical board. First of all, Right Honorable Speaker, this medical board rarely sits. In fact, they sit rarely. Number two, we had a scenario here, and the front bench is aware. The Honorable Moses Ali was about to die. In fact, it was Dr. Uganda who was moving with the documents to get clearance. So because of the challenges of the medical board, it can only be proper that we have
Chair, I think the point the member is bringing is very important. The information I want to tell you that I'm happy that today, the one who is chairing this session happened to be one of the victims. She was in a desperate situation. I don't want to mention her name, but right, Chair, the situation was so bad, and as commissioners, we had to take a decision that an action be taken. And let me tell you, we honored the medical board. The medical board, we interfaced with them, and they told us their challenges. They said they would want to meet because that's a board of professionals. They don't have the funding. That's what they have told us. So that's why when we have serious cases, and I'm glad I was together with the mover of this bill, that we faced very, very serious challenges where lives were threatened, but we had to take decision to save life. So now that we are trying to help you members, why am I hearing contradictory information, including ministers? Why? Because when you fall sick, it is the speaker and the commission that will take care of you. So we have to have a consensus on this. And I want to tell members that this is a bill that all of us are involved. All of us, we must look for any loophole and make sure we close it. Because when you get sick, you are helpless. It doesn't matter whether you know the president or you know the speaker, you die. So we have to make sure that our system protects us. I beg to clarify.
So, Right Honorable Speaker, as I conclude,
Honorable members, I want to,
as I conclude, Right Honorable
she wants to concede. First allow her to concede. Because she has understood what we are saying.
Thank you, Right Honorable Chair and honorable colleagues. The concerns of the Minister of Health were in good faith. And now, having heard from colleagues and reading the mood of this House, and the challenges that the medical board has been going through, despite that we have been trying to overcome them, I do concede. Thank you so much.
Yes, Nathan.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the procedures I'm raising will maybe help members tomorrow. A member is free to recommit a clause, but the appropriate chair and going as the speaker of what? Recommittal. Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, you have been so, I think because she's your singer. Otherwise, what you did, that she talks now when a clause has been passed was wrong. And we want to ask her not to repeat it.
She requested for it. She's a singer.
Okay, that one, that. Now, okay, that one done. But the other one which I wanted to raise, which is final, Madam Honorable Beatrice Anywa raised an issue. Madam Speaker, Honorable Anywa is out of order. Why? No, I have ruled myself and I'm explaining.
Now,
yes, myself, she never raised it in good faith.
I know you're chair of BCU, not the chair of the House.
Okay, I withdraw that. But Madam Chair.
And I made a ruling that she was out of order. It was not correct because she ought to have taken her concerns to the committee. This bill has been with the committee for 45 days.
But also, Madam Speaker, the issue is these are people who can be appointed today and tomorrow they are not there. And even if the committee had reconsidered it, back had considered it, would arrest you. Because these are people who can be appointed in the morning and in the evening they are not there. And that would be very dangerous for if we pass it in the law.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I want to allay the fears of the members, the ex-official members. Under clause 5, membership of the scheme shall consist of all members of parliament, whether elected or ex-official, and members of staff. So you are covered under this clause. So that is sufficient. But also, Right Honorable Speaker, I know you have already ruled on this, and Senga has conceded. We could qualify the issue of the medical practitioner at a consultant level. That would be okay. Otherwise, we run a risk, Right Honorable Speaker, of people simply going to anybody for as long, even somebody who has just qualified, the medical officer is a medical practitioner. We should qualify medical practitioner at consultant level. That makes sense, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Chair,
Yes,
I hope you're on clause 6.
yes, I'm on a new clause.
Yeah. Right Honorable Speaker, and on this one, I want to beseech this House. And from the word go, I know it may not be a popular submission I'm going to make. But I know it's the right economics and it is right for members. Right Honorable Speaker, midterm access. Right Honorable Speaker, I know there is an argument to be consistent with the NSSF Act because it was already passed. But much as the NSSF Act was passed, we had a fundamental objection, but it was under COVID and we were constrained to legislate on it. Now, midterm access defeats the global standards of social support system. The
Sarah, when you were speaking, they gave you chance.
Right Honorable Chair, I'm very careful while I'm submitting on this. I think I qualify to have even midterm access. And I'm Right Honorable Speaker, we must in this country fully internalize the concept of social support and the concept of helping people who face a crisis. At COVID level, servers in NSF needed a relief. But members' contribution in the pension scheme is to stand with us when we have retired. And we need every penny at that time. Now, midterm access creates a danger that some people can access this money and wrongly reinvest it. We've met ex-official members of parliament who are in their state. Now, we know we have capacity to borrow on our emoluments and our salary. And we know the story. What is going on in this country? Right Honorable Speaker, and I know your office has taken even extreme care to try and gag members not to borrow over certain limits. Because once you create that access, you create a room for people to abuse it. This may not be popular because I know in economics you say a penny today is more important than a penny tomorrow. But a money saved will stand for you at a time when you are no longer earning. Now you access it when you are earning, wrongly invest it, and you lose an opportunity. Right, Honorable Chair, I stand here to beseech this House to reject this amendment. To say that this amendment, once carried, will run a danger of our members running into dangerous waters. We created, Honorable Speaker was here. When Honorable Kakoza went to the courts of law, allowed us to access gratuity, and it became an annual payment. Because of that, members were saving gratuity, and this gratuity would benefit them at times of campaigns. Why we have a high attrition rate in this parliament? It's because of lack of campaign finance. Gratuity used to serve us well.
Yes, we've understood what you're saying. This article says you must have saved for 10 years consistently without a break. Without a break. And then you must be 40 and above.
Yes.
So 45. So you'll find very few people even qualify for this money. And when you're debating it, I also want you to look at the time value of money.
Yes.
And remember, this is my money, not yours.
Yes, Chair.
Avuru. Yes, you made your point. We shall put a question. Ajat, I'm coming.
Thank you, Right Honorable Chair. Right Honorable Chair, I want to start from where you have stopped. Honorable Chibumbi studied the same economics I did. We went to the same school. And he definitely knows that time value of money matters. And then two, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to categorically state that I welcome the midterm access because the president has already been set with NSSF. But Right Honorable Speaker, I want this House to consider that in terms of numbers of years, in Parliament, we don't serve in terms of numbers of years. We serve in terms of the terms. We look at terms. You serve one term, which is 5 years. You serve another term, 5 years. We should include in this clause that one can access midterm when you clock 45 years. But when you have served 2 terms, you should be a pensioner, like any other member of parliament.
At 10 years, common sense.
Now, Right Honorable Speaker, 2 terms, when I come midway, when I come 1 year to election, I go back and it is counted 1 term.
No. It is counted as 1 year. We are talking about 10 years consistently, not these ones that break. You come this term, then you miss in the next term.
That's okay.
Okay.
Thank
Can
you, Chair.
can the minister help?
Chair, you had given me opportunity.
Madam Chair, I have an inquiry. Yes, I have perused the report. The report suggests if you have served one term and you are above 45, you can make a choice of either getting your total refund there and then, or be a pensioner. Why? I think the whole essence of the pension is to ensure that this person leads a fair and comfortable life. Why can't we take our stand and say, whether you have served one term, as long as you are above 45, you are pensionable? Can't we take it at that? That is not a choice.
That's a different one.
Chair, I think honorable member is on a different clause, which we have not reached.
We have not reached that.
This one is
clause,
mid-term access, right, honorable Chair.
Yes, Aisha.
Thank you, Right Honorable Chair. Honorable Mwanga makes a lot of sense when it comes to ordinary pension schemes. Under ordinary pension schemes where people retire at age 55, it makes sense you can go through your age time. But even then we gave space for people. But in this particular sense, you'll find a member of parliament who is in parliament at even 70 years. And if you deny such a person, at least part of his saving to do business would be a bad thing. We have people who will retire almost at the departing time. So in light of the scheme we have, that even people can stay in parliament up to 70 years or even above, it makes sense that at one time when someone serves like 2 terms, someone be able to access mid-term his savings.
That's a different clause, by the way.
No, madam. The clause, Right Honorable Chair, the clause we are amending is that if someone has served.
We are not amending, we are introducing a new clause.
Chair, yes.
It has never existed. We are introducing it.
I agree with you. The clause we are introducing is that if someone has served at least 10 years and is above 45 years, would access mid-term. That's what they said. And I'm in support of it because the argument of Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi is that you need every penny at your retirement. But this kind of scheme is that our retirement actually might not come because sometimes you live when you're about to die. It's important that we get money and utilize it when we can still work. Thank you.
You want to make a clarification?
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the mover of this motion, this bill. Madam Speaker, I want to give members the genesis of the Parliament pension scheme. This scheme came after members realizing that our colleagues, when they leave Parliament, they live in a desperate situation. So we had to provide for some social security fund for members of Parliament who leave Parliament before they are ready. And that's why when this bill was introduced, Parliament had elaborate discussions with the President. And the President accepted that government would pay a half. When you contribute 15%, government would pay 30%. That is to help members who leave Parliament after service. And when decently, and they live a decent life. Now I'm talking about mid-term access to your fund. This means that a member of Parliament is accessing that fund when the member of Parliament is still serving. And you are still earning. And now you want to get access to your fund when you are still earning. And most members of Parliament.
Honorable Kotogong, what you're raising is in the report. And everybody has understood. And we know what we are legislating on. I thought you were going to bring an amendment on the mid-term access. And we put a question. Now that you're not bringing amendment, so can I have Nandala?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, you must be of voting age and under 6 level. So, Madam Chair, the word pension, under normal, there's no age when a member of parliament retires. And that's why we get a complication. That's why I want to agree with my sister there. Now, because we don't have an age of retirement, is where it was coming in to find a middle ground to deal with when a member of parliament leaves the house. And Madam Speaker, what we should do is when colleagues leave. And when colleagues leave, if you see them, if they have not prepared well, they're already in a bad state. Getting well, but it would be better for us to cater for them when they have left the house. It is dangerous for us to allow a member of parliament to get money when he's still in a member of parliament. He will go and take it in that conference, and at the end of the day, it is gone. The only fallback position when you have left parliament is that pension money. And that's why I want to plead with members of parliament that you can access money when you leave. But you also, you're free. They have brought a good amendment that you can now borrow from your pension. And when you borrow from your pension, instead of going to the commercial bank, your money will be easily allowed to you, and you go and use, and they will be deducting. So this is a covered part. I would request all of you members, don't accept us to take away our money now. Tomorrow, we shall be the people suffering, and you'll regret.
Proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And I would want to support Honorable Nandala. Madam Chair, I want to put this before the members of parliament. Madam Chair, first of all, our scheme is a small scheme. Let me give my submission. Our scheme is a small scheme as compared to the NSSF. Madam Chair, the moment we accept midterm, members, I want to put this before you. We are here in parliament. At the end of this term, if a member does not spend 2 terms or does not come back and has spent only 1 term, we'll take all their money, their pension. Now, and remember, as we have been studying and looking at this pension scheme, they were telling us the effect that it causes to that scheme when members withdraw all their pension after 5 years. Now you're giving another opportunity for members after another 10 years now to also come and again request for some money. And that also is another another loophole that we are causing. And therefore this affects it will affect on your investments return.
Profit, is that your money or members' money?
Right Honorable, this is members' money. But in the long run, Right Honorable, it affects them.
Can I hear from the minister? Let the minister first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I want to beg the indulgence of colleagues. Madam Chair, the matter at hand is on mid-term access. The committee has proposed that we allow members of the pension scheme to access money at mid-term. Madam Chair, the principle behind mid-term access is to allow savers get some money to be able to do something when they are still strong. Madam Chair, the proposal the committee is bringing is not to allow every member to access mid-term. The committee is saying, or more, like myself, I've been saving with the scheme for the last 11 years. And assuming I wanted the money to build the house, I believe 20% is reasonable money to enable me complete my house and I live renting. That principle, Madam Chair, is a good principle. The risk members are posing, which is the real risk, is the risk of depletion of the fund. To guard against the risk of depletion of the fund is not to give this mid-term access to everybody. If this mid-term can be given when a member has served for 10 years or more, I don't see any problem with it. Madam Chair, the committee, I can take Honorable Aisha's clarification.
Thank you so much. I just want to seek clarification from you, an economist. I have had arguments that after all, the scheme is being able to put an avenue for a loan facility. Does it make logical sense to get money at a cost? Because the loan is at a cost. Does it make logical sense to get money at a cost, whereas I could get my own savings and do something?
The principle behind the pension is that you save to a fund. This fund invests the money, makes income, and pays you benefits upon retirement. The fund, when the fund invests the money, they earn interest income. Why the borrowing idea comes, you are not borrowing from your own money. You are not borrowing from parliamentary commission. This money you have surrendered it to a pension fund, which is supposed to invest it and makes you income. That's why the interest rate on the funds you borrow come in. Can we, Madam Chair, can I propose so that we move? Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Minister. For the first time, I'm agreeing with the Honorable Minister of Finance on this matter. Madam Chair, first, the 20% midterm is not compulsory. If you don't want, don't get it. Don't get it. So you are not, it's not being forced on anyone. It's just like our savings we do in the circle here. You can keep saving every month. If you want to withdraw, you can withdraw. If you don't want, you keep it. I agree with you, the Honorable Minister. I should not suffer by going to the bank and borrow money at 27%. Yet I can be able to access 20% of what I've saved the last 22 years or so. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I think it's the right time that you put the question. The worries people have, I say, it will deplete. They are already safeguards, 10 years, continuously. If you have not, you can't. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we just put the question and then we move on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we have spent time on this clause for absolutely, in my view, maybe members are confused by the different views that are coming on the floor. But honorable colleagues, this is your pension. It is your money. You have served for 10 years. Assuming you joined this parliament when you're 45 years or 50, you will be 60 years. And maybe by God's grace, you are still a member of parliament. Why should I be left to go and borrow from the bank at 16% interest? Yet my money is lying there for who to enjoy tomorrow? You want me to this money to be given to people, yet I could have used it to invest. Not everybody is picking this money to go and spend in Nyege and other things, right, Honorable Speaker? We are adults. We need to invest our money for the our young children. So, right, Honorable Speaker, I want to propose this money, as said, is not midterm access, is not for everybody. Not everybody is going to pick this money, but there are those who may want to get this money. So, right, Honorable Speaker, I want to request that you put the question on the committee's proposal and we vote.
Honorable Minister, just a second. Right Honorable Chair, my submissions on the initial on the NSSF amendment bill that triggered the midterm access, my thoughts have not changed, and I thought there was a problem with it. Now that this is a parliament, we need to understand that there's a difference between a transfer earning and a transfer payment. And for a pension per se is not an earning, it's not income. And that we need to understand unequivocally. Secondly, and the reason why it's not taxed, we don't speak. Secondly, members need to appreciate that, for example, the borrowing component is already catered for before even the amendment. Members can borrow upon their pension. So that is catered for regardless. My view, Right Honorable Chair, that this is about members. And this being a committee amendment, would it be fatal if we stood over it? You know, see, dying today and dying tomorrow are all death. But making dying a shameful death is a bad death. Would it be okay, Right Honorable Chair, if members give themselves a night's sleep over this amendment and come tomorrow and first thing and we move it? It's about them.
Honorable members,
Yes,
it's about members.
Madam Chair,
Honorable members,
Madam Chair,
it's about members. And what we are saying to get the 20%. Don't get it. Let's die now a shameful death for now. I put a question that the proposed new clause be inserted as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
Chair. Clause 7.
Of section 15 of the Principal Act. For clause 7, there is substituted the following. Amendment of section 15 of the Principal Act. Section 15 of the Principal Act is amended by substituting for the words medical board. Section 15 of the Principal Act is amended by substituting for the words medical board and a medical board appointed by the Director General of Medical Services, the words Parliamentary Commission. Medical board, in the case of a member who is a staff of the Parliamentary Commission or a medical practitioner approved by the board in the case of a member who is a member of Parliament. The justification is to harmonize the provision with the provisions of the Parliamentary Service in brackets Staff Regulations 219, which obligates in Regulation 6252 the Parliamentary Commission Medical Board to consider proposals of staff of the Parliamentary Commission for retirement on medical grounds.
Honorable Rakajala.
Right Honorable Chair, as the regulations of the Parliament is different from ours of members of Parliament. So I concede when I went through and explained, I think we can concede with the committee.
Minister.
Madam Chair, I agree with the committee.
I put a question that clause 7 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and contrary nay. Let's have it.
Clause 7 as amended.
I put a question that clause 7 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. Let's have it.
Clause 8.
Clause 8.
Clause 8. Substitution of section 16 and 16A of the Principal Act. Clause 8 of the bill is amended in the proposed section 16 by substituting for the proposed subsection 3 and 4 the following. 3, where a member or pensioner does not nominate a beneficiary under subsection 2, the board shall, A, in the case of a member, refund the member's scheme credits to a person who has obtained letters of administration or probate over the estate of the deceased member for benefit of the member's beneficiaries under the estate. And B, in the case of a pensioner, pay the pensioner's benefits under the scheme to a person who has obtained letters of administration or probate over the estate of the deceased pensioner for the benefit of the beneficiaries of the pensioner. 4, where a person nominated under subsection 2 predeceases the member or pensioner, or for any reason, the nominated person cannot take the members or pensions, this should be pensioners, or pensioners' benefits or scheme credits, respectively. The members' scheme credits or pensioners' benefits, or any part thereof that cannot be taken by the nominated member, shall be distributed as if the member or pensioner did not nominate a beneficiary. The justification is 1, to remove the proposal in the bill allowing the board to distribute the benefits or scheme credits of a deceased pensioner member, since it can be abused, and instead apply the provisions of the Succession Act by requiring that the members' scheme credits or pensioners' benefits are made available to a person to whom letters of administration or probate have been granted for distribution to the beneficiaries of the deceased pensioner or member under his or her estate. Then 2, to make provision for the distribution of a member's scheme credits or pensioners' benefits in circumstances where the beneficiary predeceases the pensioner or member.
Honorable Rakajara.
Right Honorable Chair, I request this House to maintain the proposal as it was, because we believe everybody should nominate the beneficiaries. Under UBRA law, it is very clear pension is not part of the estate of the contributor or pensioner. So I suggest that we should have nominated beneficiaries rather than someone going and get letters of administration and then he starts taking it. But also, these letters of administration can take even 10 years when there is no one benefiting. So I suggest, Right Honorable Chair and members, that the clause be maintained as it is.
Yes, Minister.
Madam Chair, best practice in pension management separates pension from estates of the deceased, and they are managed under the rules set by the regulator. Madam Chair, what the committee is proposing, they are tending to take us to manage pension as if we are managing the deceased estate. And I therefore agree with the mover of the bill that we maintain the provision as it is in the bill, not as proposed by the committee.
Honorable members, I put a question that the clause 8 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
Clause 9.
Clause 9 of the bill is amended by inserting immediately after the proposed subsection 2 the following. The board shall deduct an amount not exceeding 2% of the contribution made under section 6 and remit the contribution to the Parliamentary Post-Retirement Medical Fund for the benefit of the member. The justification is to require the board to deduct a percentage not exceeding 2% of the contributions of each member to be remitted to the Parliamentary Post-Retirement Medical Fund. Secondly, to ensure that every member contributes to the Parliamentary Post-Retirement Medical Fund rather than making the contribution voluntary.
Honorable Rakaja.
Can I hear once again, Madam Chair?
Right Honorable Chair, I'm not scrutinized this if I request for the chairperson of the committee could repeat the, yes, please.
Madam Chair, what the chairperson of the committee is proposing is that all members be compelled to contribute 2% to the medical fund. The essence here is that this fund takes care of the medical bills when the savers are no longer working. Ideally, it adopts the principle of insurance. I have a different view. Is that we make this voluntary. Whoever wants to benefit from it contributes to this fund. And if you don't want to benefit, then you have an option of not contributing. It's a view which can be debated.
Honorable, yes, I'd like to inform my very good friend the social responsibility to each other in times of need should be met when you have to. You see, we have an obligation to care for each other. It cannot be optional.
Honorable Chivumbi has persuaded me to believe that we should adopt the principle of subsidizing each other the same way insurance works, and therefore concede and agree with the.
So are you supporting the clause?
Yes.
Are you in agreement?
Yes.
I put a question that clause 9 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. There is have it.
Clause 9 as
I put
amended.
a question that clause 9 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. You can't even say aye. There is have it.
Clause 11.
I put a question that clause 11 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. There is have it.
Clause 12.
I put a question that clause 12.
The bill talks about the appointment of the Chief Operations Manager. Right Honorable Chair, the issue of management of pension must attract all our attention. It is dangerous that we should leave it open for any person, however excellent that person could be in terms of management, to be a permanent performer in the pension. So I think, to be fair, and for us to be given opportunity to source for the best team of management, we should talk of 5 years renewable once. 5 years renewable once. That's the practice. And I would also like to propose that the years should not be, maybe 5 years would be too much, maybe 4 years, but renewable once. And that's the practice in all corporate governance. Thank you.
I also want you to appreciate that once you have somebody stay there for long, that will lead to misuse of people's money. That is the savers' money. So we need to have term limits. Why would you remove term limits? Why? It is not politics like where we have removed the term limits here. But this is people, these are the savers' money. Yes, Asimwe?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm trying to understand why we're running away from pension fund managers to an individual of an operation who is going to be subject to the board. Why don't we deal with?
There will be an abuse if we get out of that. There will be an abuse, really.
What I'm looking at, Madam Speaker, instead of appointing an individual to run the fund under the supervision of the board, why don't we why don't we leave it to fund managers who are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority and other agencies? An individual can do anything at any time, especially if he's under the supervision of the board. My suggestion to Parliament or members, we pass.
Thank you, honorable colleague, for giving way. This does not recommend to do away with fund managers. Fund managers do a different role. Once the money is collected, it's sent to fund managers. But you need an administrator of the fund, and that's the person we are talking about. These are two different things. Having said that, madam, whereas I support the issue of term limit, there should be a term limit, renewable. But when you say not more than 2 terms, you are like restricting it. Sometimes you could have a very good performer and you throw away this person. We could say renewable. They can renew it as long as the person is working well.
Thank you for the information. Now, can I seek clarification from the honorable colleague, the fund of the bill? How is it being handled now? I'm seeking clarification. Wait a minute. You gave me information. I'm seeking clarification. Then I can make my argument. Thank you. Being a member does not give you rights to
I am a board member.
Please.
I give information as a board member. And I'm telling you, fund managers are different from administrators of the fund.
It's okay. It's okay.
Chair, the issue of corporate governance and succession planning are cousins. There is no way you are going to discuss corporate governance without the concept of term limits, especially for a very important entity like this one. So the proposal of having term limits becomes very central in corporate governance. I want to agree with proposals that should be 4 years, renewable once, as an aspect of corporate governance.
Madam Chair, whereas the proposal being brought by Honorable Cecilia and supported by Honorable Suman could be having reasonable grounds, I beg your indulgence. We have just had a precedence in this house that proposals should be sent to the committee looks at them, and then before they are brought to this house. I therefore rise on the point of procedure. Is it procedurally okay for Honorable Cecilia Ogwaro to begin introducing new things in the bill which have not been discussed, brought to the attention of the committee.
Protection, Nightingale.
Nightingale.
Yes,
Mm.
don't protect.
That's
For us to want for 4 years and renewable. Just hold on, I want an amendment.
Chair, I first want to give information.
Give me the amendment.
Chair, I move a motion to amend clause
12,
12
no, 12.
to read that the scheme shall have a chief operations manager who shall be appointed by the board for a term of 4 years, renewable once. I beg to move.
Is that seconded?
Chair, although he has come up with an amendment, I would further do the amendment that in pension schemes, this is finance management kind of business that needs some time. I thought if it was 5 renewable ones, maybe would be better. Because this is, first of all, this is a practice in many other fund management. And also knowing the delicate.
Honorable Rakajara, we shall still bring in an amendment if there is need to be.
Chair.
I put a question that clause 12.
The title, Chair, the position.
I put a question that clause 12 be amended as proposed by Honorable Asumani Basalira. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 12 as amended.
I put a in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I put a question that clause 13 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 14.
I put a question that clause 14 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 15.
Chair.
Clause 15, amendment of section 20D of the Principal Act. Clause 15 of the bill is amended by substituting for the proposed subsection 2 the following. 2, notwithstanding the provisions of any other written law, the investment policy of the scheme in respect of the scheme's lending to its members shall be implemented in a manner determined by the board. Justification, the provision is to allow the scheme to determine the investment policy in respect of the scheme's lending policy. I repeat, Clause 15 of the bill is amended by substituting for the proposed subsection 2 the following. Notwithstanding the provisions of any other written law, the investment policy of the scheme in respect of the scheme's lending to its members shall be implemented in a manner to be determined by the board. Justification, the provision is to allow the scheme to determine the investment policy in respect of the scheme's lending policy. Lending policy.
Right Honorable Chair, my proposal in the bill was very clear. I wanted that the board determines the investment asset policy, but the committee did the amendment that the investment policies that we determine, apart from the UBRA law that determines the asset classes of investment, that we can only agree on loans that we offer. And what they are trying to ensure is that we, as the law now it is, we allowed only to lend up to 7% of total asset of the fund. So this one will give us an opportunity that once members want to borrow and they qualify according to the regulations of the fund, you can borrow rather than members going to the banks and borrow at a higher rate. We can lend at a lower rate such that we have return on investment. Yes, clarification.
Thank you, Honorable Rakajara. The proposal of Honorable Rakajara was about investment policy. An investment policy is inclusive.
Honorable Member.
Yes, Madam Chair, let me provide this information. Investment policy is inclusive of the loan portfolio, loan as an investment class. Now, when we separate loans are loan, it is like we are taking away the rights of the board to determine on other asset allocation. So the way it had been proposed, board having right to determine the investment policy was sufficient to cover all other asset classes plus the loans. That would take away the restrictions that we are being given by UBRA. I think it is sufficient to stay the
question from the committee.
And when you look at what the chair was provision of any other written law, you're creating a supremacy clause within the law.
Chair, that is the committee, but my proposal in the bill is very clear that the board, I give you an opportunity, please,
Chair,
an add-on.
Chair, I've looked at the proposal of the committee. Somebody who has served in that board for quite some time. Chair, I would rather go by the proposal in the bill. I go by the proposal in the bill.
Clarification. Madam Chair, the wisdom of the committee was that leaving the board to do the investment policy would be giving them a wide open door. That's why we restricted them to only loans. The other, they should be regulated. But for loans, for our benefit, we gave them an open door.
information.
But Chair, I don't understand. Why do we want to surrender our thing to UBRA, who is a stranger in this scheme? So instead, we should subject it now to the commission. If you want an overseer.
Order.
Honorable members. Honorable members, you're giving the board too much powers. You're risking members' money. Why don't you have the law as it was?
Information, Chair. Further information.
Madam Chair. Madam
Chair,
Chair.
information.
Madam Chair.
I
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I am uncomfortable with both the committee proposal and the provision in the bill on grounds that we are really extending this risk so much. We are tending now giving powers to the board to act as if it is a financial institution. Madam Chair, I beg to propose that clause 15 be deleted.
Yes,
Chair, I think we are being very unfair to ourselves. There is no powers that you are giving to the board beyond the powers they have. The only sure, these banks, when they were formulating the law of Wubura, they knew that some schemes can have powers to control their money and loan themselves. And when you see, Right Honorable Chair, our members, when they reach here, when the term is starting, they run to different banks. We are allowed to lend up to 7% of the total asset. And members, that money cannot be enough for our members. They go and borrow at a higher rate of 18 and 17 and 20 from the bank. When they borrow, the money here is very easy. What we are trying to show here, nobody can default. It is a return on investment of your own money when you borrow in the scheme. Yet, when we borrow from outside, the return on investment goes to others. They keep on limiting us to lend little, and then we don't get return on investment and on easy money. Chair and members, I still have power as a board member, as a chair of the board, to invest in equity in Kenya, which you are not considering, which is more risky that you can lose your money there without knowing. But here is clean money that I will invest and get return without hassle and boost your scheme. And post returns.
Honorable Rosajara.
Yes.
When you look at clause 18 of the section 18 of the Principal Act on the powers of the board, where it says to invest any monies forming part of the scheme as it deems fit. Do you have any problem with that? No, I am still, do you have any problem with that? Assuming we have that, clause 2, where you're saying, notwithstanding any provisions of the law, of the written law. Because this is a supremacy clause. Once you leave it, it overrides all the clauses, all the laws of the land.
Chair, what they were trying to chew is the other law of Wubura that says all schemes, Wubura will determine class assets. Treasury bills, 70%. Equity, 20. This, 10. This 10. Then when it comes to us who can lend ourselves and make money from ourselves, it limits us. So this is what we are trying to show our members. When we are debating, see how we can have that opening on our own money that we can lend ourselves and return, have returns on investment at even lower interest rate.
Chair, information, further information.
Chair. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the minister is over debating. Let the minister have a seat and we have input. Minister had time to discuss with the committee. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, UBRA was established by this same parliament, and we gave it powers to oversee operations of schemes. Our scheme is not exceptional from other schemes. Madam Chair, the board, these are people that we have given responsibility to do and oversee some work. We, the owners of the money, we are saying, your limits are here. Let the rest of these other operations be overseen by UBRA. So unless there is something, Madam Chair, board must have limits and UBRA must have powers to oversee. Otherwise, we have had issues with the board. We are having issues with different boards in different bodies. So let the board have its limits and let UBRA remain as a body that oversees the rest of the operation.
Information.
But I think you can also negotiate with UBRA because it's a regulator and it is an administrative matter. We formed UBRA and we still have an option of negotiating with them on what your fears are. But don't bring a supremacy clause.
Further information.
Yes, Katesh. Then
Madam Chair, I want to give a submission from a technical point of view, because I was the chairman of a scheme for 6 years. This is a pension scheme. It is not a SACCO. As we debate these clauses, we must not change the objective of this scheme. If we want to turn it into a lending institution, a SACCO, we are going to miss the point. Why this? Can you give? It's my maiden submission on this matter. Therefore, Madam Chair.
You workers, it seems you want to take our money.
Madam Chair, we should not dilute
our money.
We should not dilute the powers of UBRA, provide oversight over this matter, because the whole purpose is protect members' savings. You are talking of investment, 7%, what is it? We are looking at investments of 30. You are going to drain this fund by drawing out all the money when you have actually committed it for investments for a long term. Therefore, I want to support the minister's proposal. And Chair, I think you have enough powers, but you should make sure you do not dilute the oversight of UBRA over this act. And members, as we debate, this pension scheme is not a scheme of SACCO or a financial institution. We must not dilute the overall purpose. It is for us when we have retired, and we need to have it when we can no longer do what? Access any source of income. I submit.
Chair,
Honorable members,
excuse me, Chair.
we all have a stake on this thing.
Yes, Chair.
We are deleting clause 15.
Before you delete, Chair.
And I know why I'm saying we are deleting.
Before you delete, Chair, give an opportunity to other people to present.
I
want
you to know that I know what is moving around. I want you to know that I'm a chairperson of the parliamentary commission. Protect members' money.
I'm rising from the issue of UBRA, where we have been battling over and over with the Honourable Minister on workers' money. And we looked like as if we had specific interest when we did not have. Today, what we have done to that law is not what would be the wish of Minister of Finance today. The issue which we are talking about, Madam Chair, is only restricted on lending on salaries. We are saying people can borrow this money instead of going out. That's the only power we are providing. Why? The UBRA has given 7%. 7% cannot accommodate loans of all these people. And that's the point you colleagues, you are missing. We want to get money at a low rate. For us to get it, we need that rider to be included in the law. Otherwise, if you leave it, UBRA will still say, lend only up to 7%. And how many are we? We are 500 people. Why are you people punishing us to go to the bank and we suffer with 20%? And you know very well, Madam Chair, that UBRA is an agent of those banks. They don't want
us to enjoy a facility of low interest. They benefit from there as individuals. So that's the protection we are trying to create. Only on lending.
Honorable members, what you're trying to do, you're blackmailing. Ubura is not here to be heard. The rules in this house is you don't speak about somebody or an institution that is not here to defend himself or itself. So don't blackmail Ubura. What we are trying to do is to protect the members' money. And
Thank you, Madam Chair.
okay, let me first hear from the shadow finance.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Maybe we read for them. Let's read the other provision which they are tampering with. It may arrest our fears. Because, right, honorable colleagues, this is what they say, investment. 1, the scheme shall have an investment policy approved by the board. 2, all monies in the fund, including the reserve account, which are not for the time being required to be applied for the purpose of the fund, shall be invested in such assets as may be determined by the board. For heaven's sake, why do you want to tamper with that?
Thank you so much. As I maybe agree with members, but I want to make this statement that first of all, we brought this proposal without any personal interest. Number 2, you know between me and you that the only investment that has no, which is risk-free is lending members of parliament. If you are denying that, then there is a problem. Number 2, what Honorable Katesh was saying, yes.
The board has powers to decide to lend members. That's administrative.
Right, Honorable Chair, what I'm saying, I can only lend members to 7%. That is the Ubra law. And I have fiduciary responsibility to invest members' money.
You can negotiate
in way,
with the Ubura.
Still it will be begging.
No.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I was giving
you rather beg when the members' money is safe.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, some of these deterrent efforts are meant to protect abuse and excess. It will be wrong for us to remove a caveat that protects members' money. And you know the boards can be overriding, and the interest of making more money can blind them. So the only protection we have is we cushion them. Without that, we are rendering this fund, opening it to all manners of abuse. Right, Honorable Speaker, with that, I beg.
Honorable members, we are deleting 15.
Madam Chair.
We are deleting 15. I know the information you want to give me.
A suggestion, Madam Chair.
You sit. I put a question that clause 15 be deleted. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
I put a question that clause 16 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 17.
I put a question that clause 17 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
New clause.
New clause. Sarah, can you have respect for the house? Can we have the new clause? There is a new clause before 18.
Insertion of new clause immediately after 17. The bill is amended by inserting immediately after clause 17 the following. Amendment of section 28 of the Principal Act. Section 28 of the Principal Act is amended in subsection 5 by deleting the words provided government does not make a contribution. Justification, the amendments proposed to section 28 are intended to remove words that make the provision ambiguous, since the spirit of the provision is to allow a former speaker or deputy speaker to rejoin the scheme after retiring from the office of speaker or deputy speaker. The words proposed for deletion create ambiguity since they bar government from making a contribution to the scheme on behalf of such a member, while at the same time, the provision requires that section 6, which obligates government to make a contribution for a member of the scheme, applies in the circumstances. From making a contribution for such a member, yet the government is obligated in section 6 to make contributions for all members of parliament, as long as that member is a member of the scheme.
Honorable Rokajara.
I agree with the committee, Right Honorable Chair.
Minister.
Right Honorable Chair, we have no objection to the committee's proposal.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. I put a question that
Madam Chair, I want to just make a slight amendment on the amendment introduced by the chairperson. As regards the time frame, the commencement of this benefit. Honorable colleagues, the record of Parliament under the discussion when the members of Parliament discussed with the President in Mbale. And it was during
Honorable Kanya, that one will come in the next clause. I put a question that the proposed new clause being strategy as proposed, those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
Clause 18.
Clause 18, amendment of section 20J of the Principal Act. For clause 18, they substituted the following. Insertion of section 20JA and 20JB in the Principal Act. The Principal Act is amended by inserting immediately after section 20J the following. 20JA, benefits of a dependent of a speaker or deputy speaker who dies in office. 1, where the person who dies while holding office of speaker or deputy speaker does not have a spouse, a dependent of the former speaker or deputy speaker, shall be granted benefits prescribed in Part CA or Schedules 4 or 5, as the case may be. 2, the benefits under this section shall be guaranteed for a period of 20 years and granted collectively. TJB, benefits of dependent of a speaker or deputy speaker who dies in retirement. Where a former speaker or deputy speaker dies in retirement, the surviving spouse or spouses and dependents of the former speaker or deputy speaker shall be entitled to the monthly allowances specified in paragraph 1 of Part C and CA of Schedules 4 and 5 for the unexpired period of 20 years from the date of retirement of the speaker or deputy speaker. The justification: to create a new part making provision for payment of benefits to dependents of a speaker or deputy speaker who dies in office without being survived by a spouse. To make provision for the benefits of a spouse and dependents of a speaker or deputy speaker who dies in retirement, and to limit their benefits to the monthly allowances granted to the retired speaker and deputy speaker for the
Madam Chair.
He had an amendment.
Madam Chair, I have a slight amendment, and I want to refresh the mind of the members. When we introduced this pension, the Parliamentary Commission met the president in Mbale. And the idea of the president was that we needed to cover all MPs since 1962. I was one of the people who moved the constitution amendment when Moses Ali had rejected it. And therefore, since we lost that opportunity, for the sake of the speaker and deputy speaker, it is paramount that we put the commencement period of this benefit to 1962. It is just a simple, we have so many speakers and former speakers who are moving outside as destitutes. You have former speakers and deputy speakers, their children cannot afford anything, and they contributed to building this country. And it will not have serious financial implication because this is within, there are very few people, they have dignity, they are respected worldwide, they have made this parliament what it is, and we need to leave a legacy. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. The amendment, Honorable Rakajara. First of all, the clause plus the amendment.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chair. I agree with the amendment and the justifications as he said. First of all, I think we have like 3 or 4 retired speakers. And the experience that we had recently, when we lost our own speaker, we found that the family has no benefits at all. Yes. So this was not a very good experience. Usually we learn from the experience. Recently, we learned an experience that was very bad. And since they are very few, and indeed, their beneficiaries need to benefit. I support the amendment.
Honorable Rakajara, I
Yes,
think I
please.
made a mistake since 1962, after independence. 1962.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And those ones who are saying this scheme is a contributory scheme, it does not affect the contribution of the scheme. The speakers are catered by parliamentary commission. So it's a matter of putting it in the law, and then the parliamentary commission will budget for that. It will not be affecting our own contributory scheme. Yes, please.
Right, Honorable Chair, just to find out whether the definition for the word dependent is fully catered for under the interpretation clause, because I feel that is very, very important. Who is the dependent in this case?
I think we need to check on that and confirm that the definition is very clear of the beneficiary. Yes, please.
Chair, I would want to seek a clarification. I remember some years back, the president invited those who served in the first and second parliament after independence, and they were given special award. I remember one of the speakers, after receiving that award, passed on after 3 months. Now, in addition to that, the president had promised that those who were not accommodated in this pension scheme, because this pension scheme was introduced in 2007, if I recall. So those who missed, the president promised that he would give them a lump sum kind of a thank you. And up to now, the commission has not been able to deal with the matter. Since it is a pension matter or related to pension or related to retirement, is there any way you can advise the House to accommodate those people while they're still alive? So is there any way that this can be accommodated? It is. I beg to propose that those members who had served in the 6, yeah, we can have it in the same amendment. Those who served.
Let's dispose of the amendment of Honorable Ekanya. Then we go to the next.
Clarification, Madam.
Chair.
Chair.
Yes.
I thank you, Right Honorable Chair. Right Honorable Chair, we passed clause 17. And clause 17 takes care of the concerns of my brother, the Honorable Ekanya. Clause 17 read verbatim. The Principal Act is amended by inserting immediately after section 20G the following: 20GA, application. The provision of this part apply to a person who ceases to hold the office of Speaker or Deputy Speaker after the commencement of this act. And the most important is B, a person who is a former Speaker or Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Deputy Speaker prior to the commencement of this act and is alive. That takes care of all the concerns of the Honorable.
You're limiting to only those who are alive, but then what Honorable Kanya is saying, let's have all the speakers and deputy speakers who have been there since independence. They are less than 5. They are less than 5. One of them has even taken us to court.
So yes, Honorable, right, Honorable, if I understand the concerns of the Honorable Kanya, is to provide for those who are still alive.
Honorable Fox, through Madam Chair, is to provide for the former Speaker and Deputy Speaker, for them to benefit, including their dependents. Simple as that. Since independent.
And now when you look at 18, that's when it looks at those even who have passed on, who are the beneficiaries. Because originally the beneficiary was a spouse. So we are saying we must bring in the what? The dependents.
I concede, Honorable Chair.
Information,
Yes.
Madam Speaker.
Yeah. Yes.
Madam Speaker, I think the chair, Right Honorable Madam Speaker, our scheme is a DC scheme. It's a defined contribution scheme. One of the characteristics of a DC scheme is the promise. The employer promises to contribute periodically to each member's individual account. You are creating an obligation since independence without submitting the financial implication. What we are legislating is not in tandem with the characteristics of a DC scheme. I don't know what we are trying to do. If we want to, if we are paying benefits, it's a different story. But under this pension scheme, we cannot violate the principles of a defined contribution scheme.
Thank you, Honorable Katesh, for giving me way. As a way of information, I want to inform the House that it's equally difficult to define a dependent of a person who passed on a long time ago. Unless you want to say, including all their descendants, then there you know they are descendants. But in the definition of a dependent should have been dependent on that particular person. Now we are talking about people who could have passed on a long time ago. How are we going to define who their dependents are? It's really a difficult thing. Unless we say they are descendants.
Honorable Court.
Madam Speaker and honorable members, I really want to be helped by the legal persons here, because in the Constitution, we talk of retrospective application of the law. And also when you look at the retrospective application of the law, once you pass the law here, it will only be effective from the date of those the past. But the law itself will not be retrospective. And therefore, to accommodate those who died a long time ago, it is going to create a legal implication in that matter. So maybe the lawyer can help me with the retrospective application of the law.
Madam Chair, let me inform members and colleagues
when we did this Pension Act in 2007, we made it retrospectively in terms of government contribution. And because members who had left the other parliament were not here, they had not contributed anything, we made it retrospectively. And then parliamentary commission budgeted for what we should have contributed, then government put it its percentage. So what we are doing is not the first time, it is not a miracle.
Descendants. Yeah. Clarification, Chair. With the issue of dependence for people in 1964, we are going to bring the whole clan here, and they will claim that they are all dependents. The whole tribe, actually. So we need to be sure a full UPC will come here. So we need to be sure about that.
Honorable members, you first, all of you sit. First of all, you need to know one thing. Speakers don't get pension. They don't earn pension. So if you're discussing, you think it is a pension like you are, Sarah. It is a retirement benefit. And I want you to understand, I think, where Honorable Kanya is coming from. On the issue of Honorable, the late speaker, what happened? He cannot have his spouse, which has been corrected, that the dependents can get it. But then Honorable Kanya's issue was, okay, if we are now going to do a retrospective one, for him, he wants to do a retrospective one. It is now you to determine when, how far. If you say 1 year behind, well and good. If you say how many years, but the principle is agreed that the beneficiaries should be able to get. You get it, eh? And we have also corrected the aspect of the dependents.
Madam Chair, thank you very much.
First of all, I want us to agree. Are you in agreement with the clause? Are you in agreement with the clause? If you're not in agreement with the clause, then you're contradicting with the act, with the 17, which has already been passed.
Proposal.
You're contradicting with it.
Solution.
Yes, I want to hear from Apollo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I honor all the submissions that have been made. Madam Speaker, I am a little in contrary to the submission given by Honorable Ekanya in terms of the period of time. Madam Speaker,
first of all, are we together with the principal?
Yes.
We are okay with the principal. You can't say you're not because you're contradicting with the Succession Act. Succession Act is very clear.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I can.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, my proposal would be that we would take consideration from the period of time when the scheme was put in place. Madam Speaker, getting back to take up all the speakers from 1962.
That is okay. When the scheme was put in place, that's okay. That is fine.
Thank you.
I want to.
Madam Chair, for me, I think really the contribution from Honorable Ekanya is brilliant. The only thing that we need to do is first of all to check whether we have defined the word dependent under the interpretation clause. Who is the dependent? So if it's there and it's well sorted, then we are okay.
Okay, that is okay.
Starting from 2007.
That is fine. Yes.
Chair, there is an attempt to define who a dependent is. Maybe we can only make it comprehensive, but according to the bill, means a dependent includes a son or daughter. That is how it is structured.
What does, how is the dependent defined under Succession Act? Succession Act.
Obviously, in the Succession Act, it is broader. So if we want to adopt the definition
Now,
of a dependent
when
under
you
the
fail,
Succession
when
Act.
you fail here, you subject it to the Succession Act.
No,
The
Chair,
definition.
Chair, maybe let's be very specific. Because
Fine, we can go ahead and borrow the other.
this is
the
what
other
I am
definition.
saying.
That is
That
okay.
if that's what we want, we could say dependent as defined under the Succession Act. Because I know it is very broad. No, there is nothing wrong in legislation, colleagues. In legislation, reference to other laws is
You
acceptable.
can say as defined in other laws.
No, we need to be very specific because, Chair, different laws may have different definitions. And in legislation, that becomes a challenge. So what do we want to achieve from this? If we want to describe who dependents are for purposes of this bill, let us say so. The working definition here is that a dependent is a son or daughter. That's the working definition here. So do we want to maintain that, colleagues, or we want to broaden it? Now, if we want to broaden it, then colleagues could come up and provide the definition that they are talking about. If you want to include wife, or in my case, wives, let's say so here for purposes of clarity. Yes, information.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Asman. Before my sister comes from the back. Now, my thinking is that, one, it is only very important that any definition pertaining to a particular bill or law is derived and inserted in that particular what? No. So if we want to alter what we have so far, let us alter it, but it should be in this very what? Bill. But it's not proper for us to even to refer to another law. We give the judges, the presiding officers, headache looking for what they're supposed to put here. Number two, the people here, the members of parliament need to understand.
Honorable members.
What the succession.
Honorable members. You know, a daughter is defined under clause 16. It includes a daughter adopted in a manner recognized under the law. A dependent includes a son or daughter. Of course, the mother automatically. I want to hear from government.
Sure.
Dependent.
Okay. Chair, maybe let's dispose of the issue of dependent. And when you look at the Succession Act, for the Succession Act, it talks about a dependent relative. But for purposes of this bill, we could listen to this. It includes a wife, a husband, a son or daughter under the age of 18 years, a son or daughter of or above the age of 18 years who is wholly or substantially dependent on the deceased. Then it includes a parent, a brother or sister, a grandparent or grandchild who on the death of the deceased was substantially dependent. So that's the point I was making, that when it comes to the Succession Act, it broadens who a dependent is. So for purposes of this bill, the pension bill, do we want to adopt that wholly or we adopt it mutatis mutandis? That is something we should discuss here.
I think we need to restrict in terms of this pension. Where you're talking about a husband, a wife, a son, a daughter. I mean, yes, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, my opinion is that the proposal made by Honorable Ekanya can still be managed so long as the issue of the source of the fund is defined. Because, Right Honorable Chair and colleagues, we know how members go through after leaving these positions. So if there are few, as you have stated, so long as government can commit itself, I second.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica, now I want a commitment from government. I want a commitment from government in terms of the funding and the timing. Which year are you comfortable with as government? Sarah, government. Honorable members, the issue of money is not an issue. We are going to make a provision. Honorable Chris. Chris.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Chair. First, like the honorable member for Giri municipality said, we need to define the dependent so that we don't leave it vague. In my view, I would say maybe we limit it to a parent, a spouse, and a biological child. Yes. A parent, spouse, or maybe with S in the bracket, spouses, and a biological child, who is either a daughter or a son. Then secondly, I read the amendment brought by the Honorable Ekanya. I think it's good.
Honorable members, listen to the minister.
The amendment brought by Honorable Ekanya to accommodate previous speakers, I think it's good. We only need to agree on how far we can stretch the time. There is a proposal of 19 when this scheme started. We also have a proposal which we wanted to bring of 1980. So we want to propose that we stretch it to 1980. Let's start from there for the speaker. 1980.
Madam Chair, I concede 1980.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. And thank you for, yes.
Thank you very much, Chair.
How long are we going to take in this bill?
Just this one, and we move. Madam Chair, thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, this is a pension scheme, which is a contributory scheme that members contribute their money and government contributes. Really, for me, I'm finding difficulty in now bringing people who have not contributed to the scheme to actually benefit from this scheme.
Honorable
Madam
Sarah,
Speaker,
you're speaking of what you don't know.
I am proposing.
The speaker and the deputy speaker do not contribute.
No, I am supporting you, Right Honorable Speaker.
You sit.
I am supporting
sit.
That we move from the 11th Parliament. From the
sit. Honorable members, I put a question that clause 18 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, and the contrary nay.
Clause 18 as amended.
I put a question that clause 18 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. And for emphasis, it is from 1980.
New clause.
New clause. An insertion of a new clause.
Insertion of new clause immediately after clause 18. The bill is amended by inserting immediately after clause 18 the following. Repeal of Section 27 of the Principal Act. Section 27 of the Principal Act is repealed. Amendment of fourth schedule to Principal Act. The fourth schedule to the Principal Act is amended by inserting immediately after Part C the following. Part CA, benefits of a dependent of a speaker who dies in office. 1, a monthly allowance equivalent to 60% of the monthly salary of the sitting speaker. And 2, other allowances to cater for the transport, health, and security of the dependent as may be determined by the Parliamentary Commission. Amendments of due to the Principal Act is amended by inserting immediately after Part C the following. Part CA, benefits of a dependent of a deputy speaker who dies in office. 1, a monthly allowance equivalent to 60% of the monthly salary of the sitting deputy speaker. And 2, other allowances to cater for the transport, health, and security of the dependent as may be determined by the Parliamentary Commission. Justification to repeal the repeal of Section 27 of the Principal Act is to remove a spent provision. Amendments to Schedule 4 and 5 of the Principal Act is to prescribe the benefits of a dependent of a speaker or deputy speaker who dies while in office.
Members, I put a question that a new clause as proposed be inserted. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. There is a bit.
Schedule 4.
Schedule 4. The fourth schedule.
Madam Chair, I'm really after that. The minister, while giving his guidance on the issue of the definition of the dependent, did allude to talk about the child, the parent, the spouse. My suggestion was for us to go back, recommit that particular provision so that we maintain the original position of a son, daughter, and their parent, and then spouse, to avoid running into the definition of the word child. Because in this case, I don't know what definition we have for the child.
You know, because you don't know, that's why you're speaking.
Yes.
You came late, now you've just jumped in and you're discussing on what you've not looked at. Silo, it is already defined.
Thank you.
And the people who handle this are very professional lawyers.
Thank you, but
I know for you, you are the fourth schedule.
Amendments of fourth schedule to Principal Act. The fourth schedule to the Principal Act is amended by inserting immediately after Part C the following. Part CA, benefits of a dependent of a speaker who dies in office. 1, a monthly allowance equivalent to 60% of the monthly salary of the sitting speaker. And 2, other allowances to cater for the transport, health, and security of the dependent as may be determined by the Parliamentary Commission.
I put a question on Schedule 4 as amended. Be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay.
Schedule 4 as amended.
I put a question that Schedule 4 as amended becomes part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Schedule 5.
Schedule 5.
Amendment of fifth schedule to the Principal Act. The fifth schedule to the Principal Act is amended by inserting immediately after Part C the following. Part CA. The benefits of a dependent of a deputy speaker who dies in office. A monthly allowance equivalent to 60% of the monthly salary of the sitting deputy speaker and 2, other allowances to cater for the transport, health and security of the dependent as may be determined by the Parliamentary Commission. Justification: the repeal of Section 27 of the Principal Act is to remove a spent provision. Amendments to Schedule 4 and 5 of the Principal Act is to prescribe the benefits of a dependent of a speaker or deputy speaker who dies while in office.
I put a question that the fifth schedule be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The fifth schedule as
I
amended.
put a question that the fifth schedule as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Right Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, I move that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House reports therein.
Honorable members, I put a question that the House does resume and the committee of the whole House reports there too. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Rakajara.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members of the committee of the whole House, has considered a bill entitled the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill 2022 and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Rakajara.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members of Parliament, I move that the report of the Committee of the Whole House be adopted.
Honorable members, I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the whole House. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it. There is a recommitter.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I just want to move to recommit clause 4, just to add something small, although significant, because we passed that the medical board approves a medical practitioner who would enable a member access the funds. So I just want to add a specialist medical practitioner so that it reads Section 7B of the Principal Act is amended A in subsection 2B by substituting the words the Uganda Medical Board with the words specialist medical practitioner approved by the board. Because the medical practitioner can be a general practitioner, but in this case, somebody who makes a referral should be a specialized medical practitioner. So I'm just adding the word specialist. Yes.
Yes, Procedure Matter.
Madam Chair, our rules are very clear. Yeah, if you want to recommit, you move a motion first. To recommit, then the House decides, and then you justify. But you have gone ahead to justify without moving a motion, without the House deciding. Are we moving according to our rule, Madam's Chair?
The minister stood up to move a motion that he wanted to do a recommittal, which he has done. I don't know, you wanted a motion of 5 pages?
all we needed was a question now, maybe.
I thought that's what you needed is a question.
Yeah, but the minister didn't move a motion. You know, we're dealing with the answer, which captures the official record.
Now that's now where I am going to. I am going to put a question whether it is agreeable with the members, whether we should do a recommittal.
But he didn't move a motion.
What did he do? Okay,
he
you
just
move a
talked
motion.
casually.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Chair and honorable members. Okay, if you want me to be very procedural, I now rise to move a motion that I recommit clause 4, which is on amendment of section 7B of Principal Act. Section 7B of the Principal Act to be amended. It reads in subsection 2B by substituting for the words the Uganda Medical Board, the words medical practitioner approved by the board. I want to insert the word specialist. So it reads Uganda Medical Board be replaced with the words specialist medical practitioner approved by the board. And the justification is that a medical practitioner may refer to anybody who is even a junior, who is maybe a general practitioner, and yet in cases of medical referral, it should be a specialist. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Honorable members.
Madam Speaker, sorry to come in, but to my knowledge, the board is really having good knowledge of the kind of medical practitioner we have. So I entirely differ from that.
Point of order here. Right, Honorable Chair, our rules are very, very clear. Once the motion has been moved, a question is put. We will not expect the other debate first before the speaker has put a question. So let us wait for the question to be put before we say aye or not. So is it in order for the member to rise up to debate what has not yet been what?
Members.
Thank
Yes, Council.
Thank you, Madam Chair. But Madam Chair, the phrase medical practitioner, which is the question in issue, is used in clause 4 and clause 7. So if the Honorable Minister clauses.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Asuman.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, when you look at the bill, it defines who a medical practitioner is. And it says a person registered and licensed to practice as a medical practitioner under the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act. And when you look at the wording of the clause you want to recommit, it is talking about approval by the board. I want to imagine, Right Honorable Speaker and the Minister for ICT, that the board cannot approve somebody who is not up to the task. And I also want to imagine that these approvals will be on the basis, the approvals will be on the basis of circumstances and situations.
Point of procedure, Madam.
So I find no lacuna in your intended amendment because the board is involved along the way. Unless we don't trust the we don't trust the ability of the board to approve a competent person.
Honorable Minister, is there a problem with the having procedures in the system that will define who is supposed to approve? Administratively. You have the standards, set standards that should be followed?
Yeah, well, Right Honorable.
No, I am asking you.
The Speaker has asked me to. First of all, I don't appreciate the fears that the honorable members have. Because, yes, the board will be there, but we just want to be specific. Because from the definition which you are giving, it means if we leave it the way it is, the board can even recommend somebody who is 1 year in practice as a medical officer. Yes, it can legally.
We are talking about approval.
Yes.
A medical report. It's not a one-day thing. To go through a process.
What I'm saying, Madam Chair, that when we leave it as medical practitioner, from the definition which the Honorable Sarigwa is giving, it means legally the board can actually recommend somebody who qualified last year with a medical degree. And we're saying an action like this requires a specialist medical practitioner to make a referral. And there is no harm with this. So I don't know what the fears of the honorable members are. And I'm saying this as a medical professional myself. So I fairly know why I'm saying this. No.
Honorable members. Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you so much. Can you sit silent?
Madam Chair, our rules allow a point of procedure.
Right Honorable, can I be defended?
Silence, you can sit. You will talk. You will talk.
Thank you for the protection, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, apart from the challenges they were challenging Honorable Minister on the procedures of motion and all that, for me, I don't see his proposal with any problem. Really, to define that it should be a specialist is very important because today I'm a chair of the board. I may choose that one, but the other day I may choose my brother. Really are up to the task. So I want to concede, since I'm the move of the bill, that a specialist be included. Thank you.
Honorable members, I put a question that clause 4 be recommitted. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Bills Committee stage. Clause 4.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Chair and Honorable members. I rise to move a motion.
Amendment.
Oh.
You're making amendment to clause 4 by inserting the word specialist.
You know, the other members talk too much about an innocent amendment. So I now move that we amend clause 4 to insert the word specialist before medical practitioner, to read specialist medical practitioner.
Wherever it applies.
Wherever it applies,
Consequential.
we consequentially amend that provision.
And the justification.
The justification is that we have ladders within the medical profession in terms of how patients are treated. And for purposes of clarity, much as yes, the board may in its wisdom recommend a specialist, but I think it is important for Parliament to be very clear that the ladder. You know, a specialist is somebody who has attained.
Can you speak to the justification? Leave this.
A specialist in the medical profession is one who has attained a master's degree, particularly in the clinical disciplines like surgery, internal medicine, pediatrics, and so forth. I hold a PhD, so I am a senior consultant. So basically, these kind of referrals should be made by a specialized medical person, say a surgeon who has got a master's and above in surgery, or a master's in internal medicine, not a medical officer who has one bachelor's degree. It is just for clarity, and it's an innocent amendment. And
I put a question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by by Honorable Chris Baromosi. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. Let's have it.
Clause 4 as amended.
I put a question that clause 4 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. Let's have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Motion. Motion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, and Honorable Members, I move that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House report thereto.
Honorable members, I put a question that the House does resume and the committee of the whole House does report thereto. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Rokajara.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the Committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled Parliamentary Pensions Scheme, Pensions Amendment Bill.
Has reconsidered clause 4 as recommitted.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the Committee of the whole House has considered the recommittal of clause 4 and passed it in the amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I move that the report from the Committee of the whole House be adopted.
Honorable members, I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the whole House. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. Let's have it.
Bill third reading, the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill 2022.
Honorable Raka.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I move that the bill entitled Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill 2022 be read for the third time and do pass.
Honorable members, I put a question that the Parliamentary Pension Amendment Bill 2022 be read a third time and do pass. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Act 2022.
Bill settled and passed. Honorable members, I want to thank you so much for passing this bill. And as I said earlier on, this bill is for your own benefit. And I want to thank Honorable Wakajara for bringing in the bill, for taking the courage to introduce it. Our very good able minister. PM, you have a very good minister of finance. The chairperson and the committee members of legal, the shadow, the other side of legal, shadow finance, including my independent. The whole house, Prime Minister, thank you for being here up to this time. And thank you for joining us in the honorable members. Honorable members, the Prime Minister has a statement, a short statement to make.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I just want to appreciate this bill, which we have just passed. Really, it would be unfair just to take the Speaker's appreciation. Right, Honorable Speaker, one of the things which I appreciate of this bill is to provide for exited members opportunity to access medical facilities. This is extremely good because most of the members that we have met on the street, particularly during this COVID, most of them are of advanced age and they have no way of accessing medical facilities. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm so grateful to you, the Commission, and to Honorable Wakajara for having brought this amendment on the floor of Parliament. I really want to appreciate that. Right, Honorable Speaker, without forgetting the point I had brought before, there are members who did not have opportunity to be part of this scheme that we are now running. And the president had committed himself to help these people. And that doesn't mean that we need money. It means the government is willing to make the contribution which ordinarily the government does for all those members. So, Right Honorable Speaker, may I plead to you on their behalf that this matter be taken up, because most of us who are aware of it, particularly you and others, we are being approached by these former members and we really have nothing to say. Now that we have policed up our own scheme, can we now also settle this matter so that we can at least have some comfort to give the former members who have served our community? They are not with us, not because of their own intention. You know, these voters, they retire you prematurely, and we have no way of appealing. So, Right Honorable Speaker, please, I pray that you look at their case with a lot of sympathy so that we can retire this case once and for all. But I'm extremely happy that Haji Kigongo, Joseph Ekemu, and Francis Mutagira, the former speakers, are now going to be accommodated. Really, I think some of you know this, but we should clap for them. It's extremely real. I'm very proud of you, the committee, and Honorable Wakajara, to agree that these people are going to be appreciated for the great work they have done to make Parliament what it is. And Honorable Ekanya, this Honorable Ekanya, really, I don't need to appreciate you because you are part of them. You are part of us. I want to praise God for what has happened. May God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matt. You know, we wouldn't have a good evening if Matt had not spoken. Prime Minister, one of the beneficiaries is the Speaker, Yoweri.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I want to commit that the matter brought forward by our senior colleague, that is for our members of Parliament, the former members of Parliament. They are not only disturbing you, they are also coming to my office. I commit that I will inform the head of state who promised us so that this matter is put to rest. Speaker and colleagues, allow me to inform fellow Ugandans
that we woke up once again about the landslides in Kakika village, Kagoro parish, Rukochi sub-county, Kasese district, where it is reported that so far over 16 people have been confirmed dead. 7 people are injured seriously and are in hospital, while 3 are reported still missing. Initial reports indicate that over 30 households consisting of about 150 people have been displaced. This is a tragedy, tragic. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I bring condolences from the President of the Republic of Uganda to the families that have lost their dear ones. On learning about this sad occurrence, the President has directed government provide Uganda shillings 5 million to each family that has lost a loved one. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, as soon as I received the information this morning through our colleague, the Honorable Member of Parliament of Songola South, the newest, Honorable Tembo, the Office of the Prime Minister activated our emergency response unit headed by Brigadier General Chinarwa, who is already on ground. The District Disaster Management Committee in Kasese is carrying out search and rescue operations together with other partners and the agencies, other security agencies. Affected households have been advised to move to Kagere Church of Uganda in Kasese municipality. My office has this afternoon dispatched food and non-food relief items to the affected families. On the ground, the Office of the Prime Minister is coordinating partners such as Uganda Red Cross, World Health Organization, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Works and Transport, Uganda Police, and Save the Children to avail emergency support. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, in view of all this, HE, the President of the Republic of Uganda, has called on the nation to protect the environment so that nature can also protect us. What we are witnessing across the country, that is Kasese, Mbale, and elsewhere, is the result of destruction of the environment. We appeal to the general public to heed the information that is provided about weather forecast by government agencies, and also to move to safer places when told to do so. Honorable colleagues, we will continue monitoring the situation as per the weather forecast and keep issuing updates to the country. Honorable Speaker and members, I thank you.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister, for the information and for the support that is being given to the people of Kasese. Our condolence as Parliament to the Kasese people, and we will promise always to be with them at all times, time of happiness and time of sorrow like this. And I want to thank government for the contribution and for the message. Honorable members, The information that I have here is that whereas we've been debating and legislating on the issue of pension, most of you have not filled the forms. We don't even know who your beneficiaries are. So you should go to the pension office and give in your information, who your beneficiaries are, the number of your children, number of your women, your men, and we have it sorted. And honorable members, I sincerely want to thank you people. Proceed on what?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, following the statement from the Right Honorable Prime Minister regarding the tragedy that has happened in Kasese, I think it has been a tradition that we observe a moment of silence for those who have passed on. I think the Prime Minister forgot to lead it to that. So I would appeal to you, Madam Speaker, that's the procedure.
We'll do that. We are still communicating. So, Sarah, I am not going to allow, I know you come from Kasese, but we are not going to allow that. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, as we conclude the day, can we stand up and observe a moment of silence for those people we've lost?
May their souls rest in eternal peace.
We adjourn the house to 2 tomorrow.
That's it.